All right, we're live. I'm Joshua Kemble. I'm a cartoonist. I do art direction for a living. I've done that for about 8 years and professionally been an artist for about 20 years now, going on 20 years, which is insane to say. But true, which is really weird and just means that I'm getting older. But yeah, so this is my channel where I basically work on comics. I work on graphic novels like the graphic novel that I have coming out in June, on June 7th, um, for called Jacob's Apartment, from Graphic Mundi, and this is basically a coming of age story about two roommates who find a commonality in their common pursuits of their dreams amid tumultuous times in their life where they're both questioning their identities, and their dreams and their lives start interweaving both physically and in the sleeping world. And it's a pretty cool book, and I recommend you guys pre-order it as we speak from any bookstore. Basically, you could go to Barnes and Noble near you and just say, "Hey, you guys need to be carrying this book, Jacob's Apartment by Joshua Kemble." It's being put out through Graphic Mundi. Also, if you guys toward the end of June are at the Toronto Comics Festival, TCAF, I will be there. And it's looking like I might be a part of a panel there as well, which I'm really excited about. I've never actually done a panel at a comic book convention, so it'll be kind of a first for me. I've definitely gone to my share of comic book panels, and this one, the topic actually sounds right up my alley. So I'm really excited about that, and kind of excited. I'll be excited to kind of announce that as it gets ironed out. But anyhow, I still have to get my tickets and all that fun stuff, but it's definitely going to be happening. Um, let's see. Other than that, I also have a graphic novel, Two Stories, that's out and available for purchase right now on Amazon.com, and makes a really great gift for people. So it's a book about autobiographical comic about my journey dealing with depression and caregiving for somebody with panic disorder, and pretty much trying to destigmatize the conversation about mental health and mental health awareness. Gary's in the chats and said, "Hey, brother, how's it going, Gary?" Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited about what comes from TCAF, and like once that panel kind of gets organized and set up, and we start kind of ironing that out, I think that'll be good. Today, when I got home, before I get into working, I'll just kind of recap where I'm at. Like today, when I got home from work, there were plans for me to do an interview with a journalist, and I honestly kind of just forgot. I just sort of defaulted to like I got home, I ate, I'm pretty exhausted. I'm going to take like an hour nap and then read to my kid and work on my comics. I lay down to like, I'm about to take my little power nap that enables me to have superpowers, so that I can work on comics all night. And just as I'm laying down, the journalist calls, and I'm like, "Oh crap!" I'm like completely unprepared for this. Like I have no idea how it skipped my mind. So the journalist was like really apologetic because they wanted to reschedule till Thursday, and I was like, "Good, it's you who's waking up me," which actually was like a relief. So the interview for our local paper or whatever is rescheduled for, I think, Thursday, and that actually just kind of worked out. So it's one of those days where like things are starting to roll and like get put together for the release of Jacob's Apartment, and yet like in their own weird way are kind of like working themselves out. So yeah, so that's that little story. And now I need to get into drawing the graphic novel I'm working on now. And so for anybody who's tuning in for the first time, obviously Gary's familiar with this by now because he's definitely tuned in to quite a few of these streams. So Gary, sorry for the repetition here. For anybody who might be tuning in for the first time, During these streams, I've been lately working on the graphic novel Not Death But Love, the strange supernatural story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And it's a historical fiction graphic novel that talks about Elizabeth Barrett Browning, the very famous Victorian era poet. And we're actually working on a part of the graphic novel where I believe we're going to be seeing her and Robert Browning get married. So she's going to go from being a Barrett to a Browning, I believe, on the page that we're about to illustrate. But let's find out. I haven't read this page of the script yet. I kind of glanced over it last night. But what I want to do is tonight I'm going to work on roughing out this page. And this will be the roughs for page 20. And then we'll kind of see where it goes from there. I hope that, like, I'm hoping tomorrow to kind of actually get going on final pages, but that kind of works out because today is like, that'll put me at 10 pages, which is a good space of like roughs to have done before proceeding forward to like final pages. All right, so that being said, let's stop looking at my ugly face and let's look at some artwork. What do you guys say? Huh? I think that sounds good. Gary, you down? Down to take, let's get this face off the screen and let's look at some artwork. Boom. Oh, I was kidding you guys. Actually, my face is still up here in the corner of the screen. Sorry, I'm here to haunt you guys forever. Okay, so the format of this is like over here to my left is basically the comic book page that I'm going to be working on. So this will be where I rough out page 20. And then down here will be where the script is as well. So and I'm going to be drinking a Monster energy drink too, which are terrible for your health, but I need some kind of juice to kind of get through because I'd say I'm at like 95% today. So I'm still kind of getting over being sick. So while I don't think I'm contagious anymore, I think I'm like pretty like okay, but there's like a lingering like blah kind of feeling, and I need to fight that and fight through it. I shall. So let's get to this. How's your pages coming, Gary? I hope everything's going well for you. All right, let's get into this. Okay, so we have on our script, we're going to read that first. It says, oh, I already skipped to page 20. My goodness. This is Robert and Elizabeth stand facing each other, hands clasped, before a minister at an altar elaborately painted with religious imagery. They are flanked by two witnesses, Wilson and Robert's cousin. And it's going to say caption, St. Marylebone Parish Church, London. Now, I feel like earlier, like when we first started this, so this is going to be like, probably like one, I want this to just be one solid panel. I just wonder if there should be an establishing shot. No, I want this to be like one solid panel that's like a big establishing panel. So that's basically what we're going to make this into. But I do also think back when we were doing the research for a couple pages, like way early on, we ended up stumbling upon a whole ton of images of this church. I think I ended up watching like a person doing a tour, like a Elizabeth Barrett Browning tour of England. And I think that the church has like a whole thing. They even have like a mural. And I'm hoping, my hope amongst all hope is that that I saved those screenshots and that I'll be able to locate them. So I took a ton of screenshots. This was back when we were like trying to find boat research. So let's find out. Okay, so one solid page. Gary was saying it's slowly getting there, but I do expect to run out the clock this week. Yeah, I feel like that for this month. Like for me, this month is going to be really tight to kind of hit where I need to hit. But I think I'm making okay progress. So I know that for like Robert and Elizabeth, I have a panel that I think we already have maybe on this page. Okay, so her maid is going to be one of the witnesses, so that's one thing that's set. We also have to look into whether Robert Browning's cousin. That's going to be interesting too. Robert Browning's cousin. And then I think this is a very specific altar, so we're going to have to kind of like, again, see if we can find that stuff. But I know we also I had found like a really cool, I'm wondering if it's going to be here, but I had found a really cool illustration that seemed to be like the outfits they were wearing when they got married. Or could at least fill in for those outfits. But we'll have to see if this is going to be one of those ones, you know. I thought it had like their names in it too, so maybe it's not on this one. Well, there's my Elizabeth reference. That's good to have. I'll drag that down. That's her face. The reference we've been using all throughout for the face. That should be good. But I feel like there's another reference that we're missing now. It's not her dad. But yeah, it's funny, Gary. I think maybe we're both having weeks where we're just a tad bit behind where we need to be. I'm going to look ahead too. I don't think it returns to the church. Yep, it doesn't return to the church, so that's good. So we just need the interior of the church, which I know we looked up images of. And I know that maybe it's not on this one, but it's definitely on one of the ones that we just recently did. So I'm going to have to pull open some of the older roughs. I think it was it might even be on page 19, or was it 17? Gary was saying, I just have a couple of monster panels on this page. There's one that's a big shot and shows a lot of background details, and then other has a complicated object, just fiddly stuff. Yeah, that can set you back. Hey, there it is. Okay, this is that funny Victorian illustration. As we've established on this stream, we think that people in the Victorian era probably had a different anatomy than humans currently. We definitely went through a stage of evolution where our wrists and feet got larger. And I think our necks got shorter, and our shoulders got wider. But yeah, so there we go. We've got our Robert Browning business going on there. That's pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to need to look up. Well, let me see if I can find some of this other reference business as well. Okay, I think we have interiors of the church, so I just need to look. I know I have a little reference thing. Ah, yes. Haha. This is perfect. There are references of the church that I apparently found way ahead of time. So here's what the kind of top of the front of the interior, right behind where they're going to get married, would look. Here is the rest of that. Yes. This is good. Let's see if we can kind of build this out a little bit. I mean, this might be just enough to kind of know where the building is going to be. Look at that. So we're just going to call this church reference. Well, we'll just save it. So this is the actual church that they got married in. I think there's some other stuff too. Like there were, yeah, this is a plaque that's actually at the building that was in that same documentary. And it was kind of showing how they got married and all that fun stuff. But there's like a whole room apparently in the church if you visit it today that has like, I think that sculpture we've been using as reference actually came from that room. The room. So I love it. I think that's a good start. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for the church. Now we just have to find Robert. Yeah, I don't care. Okay, Robert and Elizabeth stand facing each other, hands clasped before a minister at an altar. I'm going to see if we can find. Okay, there's a couple things we're going to have to find out. This is going to be, I was going to find an image that shows a little bit of the pose that are in. So we're not having to kind of invent wholesale. And they're supposed to be flanked by their two witnesses. So this works well for like positioning and pose. So I'm gonna just steal this image here. Sorry, you guys aren't able to see that, but this at least will give us like a positioning and pose for Robert and Elizabeth. Let's see what else. Now I need to see if I can find, like, did Robert Browning, he's not Robert Barrett, that would be strange. Browning cousin? Okay. The poet Robert Browning and his kinsfolk. Let me share this so you guys can actually see what's going on here. It's a little boring, I think, if you're watching me do searches on the interwebs, and yet you're not able to see what I'm searching for. Okay. Here we go. Page not found. That's what we've found thus far. Oh, hold on a sec. Turn this back on. There we go. Back to that page not found. Let's find it. Let's find this business. Nice. Philip said, I'm actually walking home from work and watching you on my phone. Nice. Awesome. Hope you're having a nice walk. All right. So we're looking to see if we can find out Robert Browning's cousin. Robert Browning. Okay, let's just see if maybe it's on Wikipedia first. That's a good starting point. Philip said it's actually beautiful out. That's awesome. I think walking outdoors can be really good. Where's his cousin? Okay. You guys, this wedding is so famous. There's a sculpture of their clasped hands from their wedding day. Isn't that insane? Maybe I can do a little subtle reference to that. I think this is going to be an exciting thing too, because I feel like this will be a good way to reintroduce people to the Brownings too. They used to be kind of all the rage in pop culture. When that book about the Barrett, or that movie called The Barretts of Whimple Street came out, there was like a resurgence of Browning obsession. And that's where the kind of misnomer idea that like her dad was holding her hostage and she was this sort of helpless damsel in distress who was saved by Robert Browning. That's where that started with that movie. And then I think Virginia Woolf, I think, did a play about the Browning story, but it was told through the viewpoint of the dog Flush, which is that red Cocker Spaniel we've been finding. So then that kind of like created a little bit of a resurgence in like the Brownings lore and story. And now I'm sure there's other stuff out there, but it's like we're putting our spin on it. And I'm really excited about it because I feel like our spin is actually really accurate. It's very, very much based on letters that hadn't really surfaced at those times that those were out. So pretty excited about it. That being said, who is Robert Browning's cousin? Cousin. Ah, here we go. By his cousin Cyrus Mason. Let's see what happens there. Cyrus Mason. Robert Browning. I mean, the question is, what does his cousin look like? Do we have any? Okay.
Should I put him in?
If you guys can find a picture of Cyrus Mason, Robert Browning's cousin from like the 1840s or 1850s. Before I can. I don't know. That would be cool. Okay, Cyrus Mason. Okay, there we go. The problem with having a beard, I had like a hair sticking out somewhere and I can't. That's what I was just doing. I was like trying to. Is that? Okay, Cyrus Mason. Cyrus Mason is a possibility. We might need to go to this like digital archive at Baylor. That's, oh, never mind. Here we go. Corresponding, okay. Browning likenesses. If not, we might just have to kind of make him up, which I'm always happy to do. Let's make him up. Okay, you see that like crazy guy to the right? Again, these, this is the Victorian era of evolution of the person. So the waistline was much lower, the chest was much tubier. It's kind of interesting. It looks like a very like it's like got an Edward Gorey vibe, some of these, but without the. It's like if you took Edward Gorey and then you put him into that territory. What's it called? When you're watching like 3D animation and it's too close to reality, it creates There's like a word for it when something's like a little too real. Oh, the uncanny valley. So a lot of these old Victorian illustrations look like the uncanny valley version of Edward Gorey's illustration. All right, you guys, we're gonna get to work now. I think we have what we need. Oh crud, we don't. I was so excited. Get to work. I guess this is part of the work, you know. It's half the fun of the doing. All right, let's pull up that old search bar again, because what do you think we have to look up? First off, I need to find out what religion is this parish, and then I need to find out what would the priest be rocking. Like, what is that priest wearing, you know? So this is called St. Marylebone Parish Church in London, which still exists, I guess. And I've made the same mistake here, so hold on a sec. Let me pull this up. And let's see what we can do here with. Okay, there we go. Okay. Anglican Church. So now we need to look up 1840s Anglican. Would it be a pastor, a minister? (1840) Anglican. Let's just look that up. Preacher? Maybe it's still a priest. What minister married the Brownings? Huh. Okay, so St. Mary Parish Church, London. History. All right, let's see here. This might actually have a little bit of help here with where to go. May you sound like a psychopath.
I'm
being really loud over here.
I'm sitting here kind of trying to focus on searching for stuff, and in the background, my sister-in-law is like sitting on the couch like, like that. It's a little creepy.
Stop.
It's so funny.
Here, let me put the mic. Maybe you guys can hear it. Could you guys hear that at all? And my wife, her sister is trying to tell her like, hey, like, stop laughing. She can't.
She's watching a comedy called Funeral.
I guess it's a good comedy. I'm gonna have to find out.
This is like so painful, but I can't stop laughing.
All right, so let's see the Thomas Harris, because I had a feeling this is gonna be. Here it is. Yeah, it's saying. Are you guys hearing this madness? We live with a lunatic. Okay, so this says a local resident was Charles Dickens. That's interesting. Whose son was baptized at the church. Robert and Elizabeth Barrett were married at this phase of the church. Ah, this is what I was hoping for. I think is a rector a minister? Yes. Perfect. Haha. I knew it would be there. So we're talking like right now, 1846. So we need to find 1846. Their minister was named John Hume Spry. Boom. History. John Hume Spry. And it's called a rector. I believe also a bishop, possibly. Boom. All right. We are making some progress, you guys. I know it's nerdy, but I'm like, hey, if I can know what the guy looked like. John Hume Spry, rector. This could be really bad, these search results, you guys. Hey, there we go, National Archives. Well, there's got to be. Hey, look at this dude. Look at this dude. Oh my gosh, this dude's amazing, but this isn't the right dude. Oh, I was all excited. I thought we found him. That did look like the wrong era, honestly. I don't think men were wearing puffy wigs at this point. But it would have been fun to draw a guy wearing a crazy puffy wig. Hey, here we go. Here we go. John Hume Spry. Lord Byron and his times. Come on. All of this is absolutely cool, and we've got the correct rector. He's apparently a Bampton lecturer. I don't even know what that means, but that sounds pretty cool. Let's keep this hunt going. Prebendary. Canterbury. I'm going to write this stuff down. This might be helpful. Minister. Okay, of Christ Church, Birmingham, rector of St. Marylebone, and prebendary of Canterbury. Great. I'd love to see some actual photos of the guy, like a drawing of him or something. There may not be such a thing, but at least I can look up what a Anglican. Let's look up. Actually, let's check out maybe St. Marylebone Parish Church. Maybe this has. Maybe they have their own website, and maybe they have portraits. Yeah, okay, they do have their own website. Maybe they have portraits, and just it's a long shot, but we can look. Information, history. The rectors, dudes.
Oh, get up.
John Spry, DD. Oh man, I was hoping they'd have photos. So we know it's going to be John Spry. Information, history.
Oh, come in my room. Wait, wait. That's right.
I mean, I'm just checking. This goes way back, this church. History, let's see. All right, we're just going to look at the parish records here. Look at this list of people who went to this church, though. Sorry, I think we're not going to find a picture, so we'll just have to look up what a minister, an Anglican minister, looked like at that time. But listen to this list, just some of the people on it. Francis Bacon, Charles Dickens, right? Florence Nightingale, the Brownings. The bronze casting of the heads of Robert and Elizabeth Browning are at the place. Maybe this will have like more stuff. Let's find out. I think this might just be a photo. Okay, here's the bronze casting of their hands. The life-size hands were given to the parish church. And it was made by American sculptress Harriet Hosmer. All right, we're not finding photos of John Hume Spry Rector. But at least we got close. So now let's look up just 1846 English. Let's see, London Anglican minister. Bishop robe. How's it going, Landon? I'm looking up Anglican bishop robes. Trying to see if I can find a specific era of bishop robes. Okay, Anglican bishop robe history, England. I mean, I ended up finding the bishop that were. I don't honestly know if he was a bishop, but I know he was the prebendary of Canterbury and a rector of the chapel that they got married in. So now we're trying to go back in time to like 1840. Hey, look at this. Look at this. Is this only for the Scarlet Chimera over Rochettes? Anglican bishop marriage robe. Let's just see what that would be. Anglican vestments. Okay, let's check this out. They can be confusing. I'm noticing this. Oh, okay. He was a prebendary, so maybe these are different offices, roles, and functions. Black robes are not vestments. A black cassock was just the priest's street clothes. Okay, Eucharistic vesture, chasuble, or dalmatic. Large piece of material cut around diamond shape. Eucharistic services. Okay. Stoles are signs of order and office. Priest stole hangs vertically over each shoulder. So, okay. Purple or blue is Advent. Purple is Lent. White is Christmas and Easter. Ah, white. Okay. Haha. Okay. Ah, that took forever. Okay, let's look up 1840s Anglican priest stole and white chasuble and dalmatic. What was the Anglican priest white out? Yes. There we go. This is Anglican though? Because I don't think he's a bishop. He's the prebendary of Canterbury and a rector. But he'd be rocking just some scarves. I forgot. Priest stole hangs at so he'd have the priest stole. And he would be wearing white. Okay, a white stole kind of thing. Okay. So we're basically going to have our priest. Do they wear like a head covering? Let's just look up 1840 Anglican wedding. Will one of these show the Anglican? Okay, so we found some reference here. So I'm going to use this as like the head. It's just like, it's funny how like simple things just can totally take forever. But you want to be somewhat accurate, you know? Like, I don't want to have like an Anglican priest wearing something that's not Anglican, you know? I think I'll go back to what we had here. I don't know if it's going to be like a full bishop's vestments, though, because he doesn't seem like he's a bishop. He's just the rector. Aha! A lot of good that did. Okay, so it's going to be the same outfit of an Anglican priest, but we know that in a wedding, okay. All right, guys. just this part is not going to be white and black. It's just going to be white. Okay. I think we've got it. We have enough information. We've done the research, you guys. All right, I'm going to turn this off. We've done the research. We've collected all the reference I think that we need, and it's at a good hour mark. So it would be a good time to kind of take a real quick break. So I will play you guys the trailer for Jacob's Apartment, and then we're going to actually finally get to some drawing. That would be nice, right? All right, here we go.
Clearly it seems that only in dreams can we be these things we've seen and walk around breathing I don't know the part to play in this heart of mine. There's dissonant things, they split at the seams.
All right, so I think we're in pretty good standing now. So I'm going to arrange my references so that I can start some drawing. So this is just going to be for like a priest face. It just seemed like a nice priest face to kind of work through. I think that face can be substantially smaller. They're just for references. Okay, and let's move our priest up here. Let's get our, okay, this is the cousin's outfit, which is just going to be the one on the right. So that's okay. I'll just move that up here. This was just a cool artifact that's like a sculpt based on their actual hands, the Brownings. And it just reinforces like what a big deal this story was, I guess, you know, in history, English literature and love stories and stuff. Okay, so okay, that's going to be the rough pose that I want them to have. That's going to be the background, that crazy background right there. Maybe I can move the pose up here so we have that all referenced. And then the backgrounds, I don't think we need to see just yet. Elizabeth's face, so I can kind of remember what her face looks like. There's their costumes that they're going to be married in. This is like Victorian accurate. The maid's outfit is here. Well, here's Elizabeth's head. The maid's outfit is going to be here. And let's take a look at the environment again. Okay, so we're going to have a really big shot of all of them. So let's start with let's just get to drawing. Feel pretty good about that though. So Elizabeth is going to be wearing this outfit, and the pose above her. Okay, cool. I love it. Okay, restart. Okay, here we go. Just do Elizabeth's head. She's going to be looking very eager. How to loosen up my sketching. I've been in like research mode all day. You get to loosen up that sketch. My gosh. I'm insanely drawing way too tight today. Okay. Whew. Okay. So let's get this going. Man. Interesting when you're having an off drawing day, but it is not an off drawing day. I'm just warming up a little bit. Okay, there we go. So she's going to need her sort of crazy locks going. I like the idea of showing her neck a little bit too. Okay. Okay. Okay, there we go. And her locks of hair. Okay, let's loosen up a little bit here. Okay, there we go. I don't know if she's going to have time for a veil at this point. Because they're kind of eloping here. Okay. Now let's get her. And this is why we had her in that gown like much earlier. All right, here we go. There we go. Her hands are going to be in Robert's hands. Kind of like the idea of her leaning back. So we'll use that kind of exaggerated pose there. Give her just a little bit more chest. That might be good. Okay. And let's see here. She's going to be wearing this kind of rather ornate dress. Actually, I think they're a little higher up on the hem. There we go. And this is that crazy dress. It's going to have like some kind of frilly business going on here. Okay, we got Elizabeth down. Now let's get Robert. Robert should be a little easier to get correct. Robert's hands are here. I think I'm going to run out of space here, so let's see. I don't think we need the Elizabeth reference anymore. So let's scoot them over a little bit. And down a little bit. Okay. Cool. So Robert's going to be wearing this, this outfit like right above. It's going to have that sort of low cut thing going here, but like he definitely has some of that Victorian filigree stuff going on here. Okay, cool. Let's get that head a little corrected. Just a little bit. A little bit smaller there. He's got like total chops that we've established in previous pages. Also has hair that part kind of, he's got almost like an Abraham Lincoln vibe going on. From what I've been able to gather on him. Okay, so there we go. We've got him. That is a ginormous head. A little bit better there, right? Nice to not have humongous heads on your characters. And then he's going to have his This is going to be a little bit lower cut, but and then similarly, we'll have those sort of lighter toed shoes. Cool. Woohoo! You guys, we are getting there. We are getting there very slowly but surely. And don't call me Shirley. Ha ha ha. I know. I'm here all night, guys. All right. So then we're going to have our lighting. That's going to be kind of coming from, I want it to be almost like from the center. This is going to be like a church. They're being lit by, let's say, like candles or something in the center, which is all the fun that we're going to have to rough out after the fact. All right, so we got our Brownings. Whew. Okay, the maid is going to be, oh, where was the other? Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Something is something. Okay, let's see. Anglican minister. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Where's my minister face? Okay, this is going to be the costume for the cousin. But we'll kind of get into that in a second. Now we're going to do the maid. The maid is going to be here. I guess we're going to have to do maybe making them a little bit smaller. And the maid is going to have her crazy maid hat going. She's going to be further back. Crazy maid hat going. And definitely going to have that kind of more bold, frizzy hair that we've gotten familiar with. And good old Wilson, the maid, is going to be here. Okay, and we're going to have our maid have her kind of thing going here, and then she's got this costume that we've gotten pretty familiar with at this point. And again, they're sneaking out to do this, so like the maid doesn't have like a special outfit or anything like this. But I do like the idea of maybe she does have like a bouquet. Maybe they snuck a bouquet just to make it special. So we'll do that. We'll steal the bouquet from the image above. Not the most rendered bouquet, because again, we're just working on roughs at this point. And the maid is wearing her maid outfit. And it goes like this. And actually, her maid outfit is going to be a little bit off site. And I'm going to actually make her okay. And let's make her maid just a little bit smaller. And let's go ahead and crop off part of the maid. You guys, we're almost there. Where are we at? Okay. Maid is out of play now. Where is my maid here? Woohoo! Okay. We're going to have Robert's cousin. He's going to be like the guy here. I'm guessing his cousin. His cousin's just going to have like a beard kind of thing going. So we'll do that. Let's do like a full beard. All right. Maybe his cousin has like a little bit of that kind of thing going. The hair kind of goes out a little bit. There we go. And cousin's wearing that dapper business going on that image. I'm going to draw the cousin just a little bit bigger at this point, and then we'll sort of correct it as need be. There's a little dapper kind of hand like thing there. Again, he's going to have like an ascot kind of thing going on. And I want to show just a little bit of the dapperness there. Okay, cool. He's going to have very cool, like cool as a cucumber striped pants here too. Because why the heck not? Because that's his costume that I'm going to be drawing. And we'll do another set here. Cool. Yes. Okay, and maybe this arm's like this. Got kind of his arm out. Because he's a manly cousin. There we go. Okay. Woohoo! Okay. And I want to give his cousin like just a little bit of a nose. That would be good. All right, so the cousin's got a nose. That's good. He's got a dark jacket as well. Good to have. He's going to have, again, we're going to have the lighting coming from sort of the middle. And now we can sort of center the characters. Kind of like the idea of them almost like disappearing off frame a little bit. But if you're going to cut off a figure, you want them to like really cut off. You don't want it to be a tangent. So we'll do that. Save. And now we just need our minister. Minister is going to be right here. I really like that minister above space. I think if he has glasses, though, they're going to have to be like bifocals almost, because it's like a very old hat thing. But I really want to steal that guy's kind of his nose. And now is where we're going to look at this robe up here. He's going to be reading from a pamphlet. This is like a Vegas wedding, you guys, back in the day. The equivalent of what they're doing. Let's do his hand. Let's have this be like the robe. Robes. Anglican robes going on. Definitely going to have the vestment thing, whatever that is. Now we've got our robes end here, like those little under things. And there's like a darker one here. Woohoo! Guys, we did it. We did it. He is going to be, you know, maybe I'll have him like backlit. If we're going to have like candles or something, maybe. Maybe he's more backlit than anything. And there we go. Woohoo! Exciting times, you guys. Okay, we have all our characters kind of laid out. That was a kind of complicated scene to try to rough out, but I think we did it. Now we just need to look at the environment that it's going to be taking place. Whoa. Move that down. Okay, so I want this environment to be, there is going to be a thing here We'll have to look up what this painting is a little more carefully, but I think it's going to be a pretty big painting. I do want that to be part of it. I think this is going to be one of those kind of more Victorian era frames. And I think this is like, it's got to be like a Marian child or something with there's definitely some sort of religious iconography type painting going on there. There are some pretty rad pedestal type things here framing this. We're going to go ahead and get those in there. And now I actually want to move this up a little bit. Okay. Let's just make it smaller. Okay. We're going to have our more ornate thing going there. Maybe we'll see just the tops of like the pews going here. Oh, I see. There's like steps. This is interesting. And then here is like really cool window, which is great that I established the lighting the way I did, because this is definitely going to be like a big thing to have. Sort of this ornate window. And we're just going to invent a little bit. But let's get this at least close. So then there's this kind of thing here. There's like a trim. Of this have a similar thing. There's a trim. And it definitely seems like there's some kind of cool pattern of some kind on this like gold thing. Okay, let's look up the other half of that. Where is the other half? Come on, we had it. There it is. There's the other half, which will be really cool if we can sneak in a lot of that. So here, this is going to be really unique and have like sort of this going like that. There's some sort of emblem here. I would imagine it's like a cross or something. This going on. Wood paneling. I'm going to see a little bit of the sides of that. And then now is where it's going to have like these epic. Very cool thing. I'm not sure. I think this is Christ in his throne room. Okay, I see. He's like kind of sitting in robes. On a throne. In a red robe. Sort of like his throne. Pillars. There's archways too on the painting. And it seems like this is almost like the scroll of the earth. So this is like a very like, got it. And then we have angels, I think, or people praying. Definitely like angel type figures. Going here, all the way across. I think it's the same thing across here. Angels. We'll probably find a tighter reference of this too for the final, because it would be cool to have like a real detail of that like sort of archway. And then here underneath, I'm not sure what's going on there. It seems like it's like almost like an audience of people sitting. So maybe it's supposed to be like they're actually at church or something. I don't know. That's really interesting. I'm going to have to take a look at this. I'm sure it's like a very famous painting or something. It seems like it's mostly like people sitting here. The right hand and left hand of Christ. That being said, now we will start adding some detail to it. So there's like a kind of a glow to this. So I think up here gets a little darker for the bottom. There's definitely a little bit of rendering here. This is like for sure kind of set in the background. These are definitely kind of recessed in. And then we start getting into this kind of cool, like the windows are just blasting light through, which is pretty awesome. And this is somewhat in darkness, strangely enough. Cool. A lot of this background will be in darkness as well. Most definitely going to have shadows to seat them on the floor there. How cool is that? That like we just found out like a church from like 1840. We found out like what the minister was probably wearing. We know exactly the location it happened. We know exactly like what the maid was wearing. We have a really good idea of what Robert and Elizabeth were wearing at the time. I mean, I would call that a rough, well executed. So, I also think that's like half the fun of roughs, right? Is like being able to have moments like that. So here the caption's gonna say St. Marylebone Parish Church, London. So now we need to do our classic I don't know. What do you guys think? I think that was pretty cool. So we've been using this trope of like the sort of, see if we have it still. So it's kind of the location is going to be on this sort of thing like this. And it'll say, you know, this will say, Saint. I'm going to do it a little better. So let's just do the Saint. Saint. Marylebone. Parish. And this will say church. And probably comma, London. And we'll obviously, when we get to the final, really solidify that type. But at least this gives my publisher like a rough idea of what it will look like. Okay, so our type's going to be that, and it's going to be sort of this scroll type blocked out scroll thing happening. And that will be that. And let's make that just a little bit smaller. Maybe even smaller. And now I'm actually pretty excited. We have made really good progress on this. Now, do I want this to be, I mean, it's definitely going to have its shading to it. But I'm wondering if we can do this as like, maybe this actually goes down here. Or maybe it's just more subtle up top. Or maybe it's right in the middle. I actually like it right in the middle. Whew. I'm gonna save that, and I'm gonna call it a night on that rough for page 30, or for page 20. I wish it was page 30. So yeah, that's gonna do it for my stream. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me while I work on roughs for this book. Again, I want to hit it hard and like do these streams till like 2 in the morning again. But I also want to make sure that I don't get re-sick, because that would defeat the whole purpose of like the last week where I just all I could do was sleep. So I don't want to have another week like that. I'd rather have like somewhat slow and steady progress than that. So yeah, but I feel pretty good about this. And yeah, so if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit the bell, so you get notifications when I'm about to go live. Make sure you picked up Jacob's Apartment, as well as pre-ordered Jacob's Apartment, as well as picked up a copy of 2 Stories. And let me know in the comments how your projects are coming along, what you guys thought about this, if I'm wrong about the Anglican minister's outfit here, Mr. John Hume Spry, or if you happen to come across an image like that, let me know. And until then, I will see you guys until basically tomorrow, when hopefully I can get started on working on some finals for these pages. Yeah, so I'll see you guys around then, and have a good night. Bye. Oh, and thanks to everybody in the chats, everybody who watched, all that fun stuff.